Okay, there it is. We're gonna take in the North Carolina sunrise while we're gonna take in the North Carolina sunrise while we continue with this here. Oh Lord. While we continue with this the Bible reading here. For those of you who are just coming, oh wow, that's absolutely beautiful. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. How y'all doing? It is Saturday morning. It is the 5th day of what is April? Yeah, it is the 5th day of April or 2025. Now, those of you on the talk, you know that there was a lot of chat. There was a lot of chat about today being the last day of TikTok, but there has been another stay. There's been another stay. So I think the president said 75 more days or something like that. Oh boy. So here we go again. Here we go again. So we are going to work with what we got. Yeah, we're gonna work with what we got. Okay. So this morning we're going to continue with the reading of the Bible. For those of you who have been here with us, we have been I have been going over the Bible again. I know there are many of you who are here now who have been with us who were with us when we read the Bible in its entirety. And now we have decided we are reading it again, but this time we are reading specific books at a time. Now, please note that when you come here and you hear me reading the Bible, I don't endorse religion. I do not endorse denomination. Religion has been instituted in society to cause a great divide amongst people, and this adherence to religion has caused a lot of people to be losing their way to humanity. Okay? People hate you just because you don't believe what they believe. And then in the same breath, they claim to be preaching love and peace. And that sentiment is reminiscent of the Bible. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Um, a few of you have texted me and asked me to reread the book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah have 52 pages, 52 chapters in it. The book of Jeremiah is one of the most interesting books in the Bible. I have said many times. It is rather interesting because you have to read the whole story of Jeremiah for you to understand exactly who Jeremiah was. A lot of people keep saying, oh, Jeremiah was the greatest prophet, Jeremiah was one of God's chosen, etc., etc. And I used to be one of those people, and not because I had any particular reason to say so, it's just what was taught to me that Jeremiah was one of the greatest prophets. But after having read the book of Jeremiah several times, I beg to differ. And whenever I say Jeremiah was a crook, people come at me and say, Trev, you shouldn't say that. Jeremiah was a man of God. No, 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 no. Listen. Anybody who comes to my face and say that, it tells me that you have not read the book of Jeremiah. Because if you ever read the book of Jeremiah from the beginning to the end of it, you will have the same questions and you will come to the same conclusions like I came to when it comes to Jeremiah. Yeah. So I hear you. I've seen your messages. Those of you who are begging me to go reread the book of Jeremiah for you all. I hear you, and I list on my YouTube channel. Now, excuse me. Now I have put in the playlist already in on my YouTube channel the whole book of Genesis, Leviticus, I think Numbers as well. I need to go back. I need to go back and make sure I have them all the ones that I have put up. And I'm starting to put up like shorter books when I have shorter time to just to document them and leave them there. So if you are one person who don't want to have to go read the Bible, you can always just listen to it being read. Okay? I don't say like verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, whatever. I just read the story so you can listen to what is going on, what is happening there. Okay, so I'm working on putting the book of Jeremiah out there so you all can listen. Those of you who were here when we read Jeremiah, you all now know why I am not one of those people who's going to put Jeremiah on a pedestal. If anything, Jeremiah needed to be in prison for what he orchestrated against the Jews. Yeah, yeah. Because I believe Jeremiah was very self-serving. And not even AI don't agree with me, but Jeremiah was very self-serving. Jeremiah was in this for himself. Jeremiah was in this so he could get out of poverty, so he had these ideas of grandeur and he wanted to accomplish them. He wanted the people to see him as the greatest. And the only way for him to have accomplished that was to pull a wool over the people's eyes so that they believed that he was some kind of a godsend. And though some of the people believed them, you would have seen that in the end the people realized that no, this seems all fraudulent what Jeremiah is doing. It's a lot of deception that is here. It really did not appear as though he was on the side of the people, and this God he kept telling them about did not seem as though he was on the side of the people either. And if you notice, every time the people tried to call him out, they were met with some kind of destruction. And that was his way of saying to them, well, you see, it's because you have the audacity to question me. Yeah, so I think if there's anybody in the Bible I consider to be quite nefarious, it would be Jeremiah. But anyway, we finished reading Jeremiah, and we also finished reading, we read the Lamentation as well. We read the Lamentation as well. And I promised y'all that today I was going to start with we were going to go back to the Kings, because in the book of the first and second Kings is very interesting, coming over all the way over to Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther over there. That's, yeah, it's very, very interesting over there. Somebody had said we should do Samuel. But with the Saul story, the David story, I don't know. Tell me, those of you in the chat, we got a few people here. What you all think? You think we should start with the Samuel story? Should we? Come, people in the chat, say yay or nay. You know, somebody should have my other. Hold on. I'm find it. Hold on. Me again. Don't fall in love with a dreamer. All right. Yes, I'm do Samuel. All right. Samuel, yes, I'm do. That's what we are going to do. Anything you say, sis, that's what we are work with. Okay, so we are going to do the book of Samuel. Here we go. We're gonna start at First Samuel. First Samuel. So y'all can follow along with me or not. If you don't want, you can just listen. Okay? Let me fix this here. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna do the book of Samuel. And remember the story of Samuel? I'm never gonna just want to synopsis of the story of Samuel, how Samuel came about. Samuel's mother Hannah was thought to be barren, like she could not have any children. She was going up in age. She was married to Elkanah. Elkanah loved her to death, but he wanted children, and his concubine Peninnah, he was with Peninnah, and Peninnah had two boys. Peninnah had two boys for Elkanah, but Elkanah was madly in love with his wife Anna. And so Elkanah had gotten quite old, very old, frail, feeble. He had asked, he had determined that since he was very old, he was about to be gathered to his people. You know, in the Bible, when they say, gather you to your people, that means you're about to die. Gather you to your fathers, that means you're about to die. So Elkanah was very old, and he was close to being gathered to his fathers, and he decided he got to give all of his riches to his to he had to share up all of his possessions. And so he gave Anna more than he gave his side chick Peninnah. And Peninnah was upset. She cussed Anna how Anna was barren. Anna couldn't have any children, couldn't even give the man a seed. She was mad. But then Anna, she prayed, she cried, she prayed, she cried. At one point, she was in the temple praying, and the priest, Eli, saw her praying and thought, good God, Anna must be drunk, because it looks like Anna is talking to herself. The priest approached her, said, it looks like you're drunk. She says, no, I'm not drunk. I'm just pleading my supplication to the Lord for him to make me pregnant. She fussed with Elkanah that he couldn't get her pregnant. Elkanah got upset. He said, like, what you want me to do? I can only do what I am doing. Am I not more to you than if you had 10 sons? Look how good I am to you. Look how I take care of you. But that was not enough. That was not enough for Anna, because Anna really wanted a child. And so God gave her, eventually she got pregnant in her old age, and she had Samuel. Okay? The story goes on, but now you have to go listen to the rest of the story. Okay? You're gonna have to listen to the rest of the story now, beautiful people. Let us begin. The story of Samuel. The first book. The first book of Samuel. I don't know, I go sleep last night. I never do my due diligence, and charge up my devices before me go sleep. So watch me here so now, with my power bank dead, my phone, everybody is on the dying side this morning. But yeah, we're gonna read. Let us do Samuel chapter 1. It says, now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zoph, and Ephrathite. All right, so they were descendants of Ephraim. And he had two wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Anna had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the two sons of Eli were Hophni and Phinehas. The priests of the Lord were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. On a seat. So them did have sons and daughters, But any story you read, it will only talk about the two sons that Peninnah had. But you see right here, it says he had sons and daughters. But because of their patriarchal society, oftentimes they mention the sons and not mention the daughters. So it says, and to all her sons and her daughters he gave portions, but unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah. But the Lord had shut up her womb, and her adversary also provoked her sore to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. So Anna's adversary was Penina. Penina Costard Grattan say, you can't breed, you know, what are you here for? Because you see, in those days, a woman's womanhood was tied to her ability to bear children. And if you couldn't bear children for whatever reason, you were considered an outcast. Yeah, you were a woman who didn't deserve a husband, who didn't deserve anything good, because you were not able to produce a seed, they call it. So Anna was the butt of Penina's wrath. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Now Anna was the one they said wept and did not eat. Then Elkanah, then said Elkanah her husband to her, Anna, why are you crying? And why aren't you eating? And why is thy heart so grieved? Am I not better to you than if you had 10 sons? So Anna rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon the seat by a post of the temple of the Lord, and she was in bitterness of soul, and she prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto you, the Lord, all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunk? Put away thy wine from thee. And Anna answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my heart before the Lord. Count not that handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before the Lord, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah, his wife. And when the Bible says the man knew his wife, that means he went in unto her in a husbandly manner, if you know what I mean. And the Lord answered her prayers. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Anna had conceived, that she bare a son, and she called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked the Lord for him. And the man Elkanah, and the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Anna did not go with them. For she said to her husband, I will not go up until my child is weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord. And there abide forever. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seems good unto you. Tarry until you have weaned him. Only the Lord establish his word. So the woman abode, and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bullocks, and 1 ephah of flour, and a bottle of wine, and brought him into the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young. Excuse me. And they slew a bullock, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my Lord, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to the Lord. And he worshipped the Lord there. Here ends the reading of 1 Samuel chapter 1. All right, that right there is the story of Samuel, of Samuel's birth. Okay, here my neighbor's AC coming on. But anyway, let us continue. Samuel chapter 2. And Anna prayed and said, My heart rejoices in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, because I rejoice in my salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogance come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord kills and makes alive. He breaks down to the grave and brings up. The Lord makes the poor and he makes the rich. He brings low and he lifts up. He raised up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill, to set him among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon him. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of the heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Now, me I wonder something. Let me wonder out loud. Do you all think this was the same premise on which Jeremiah operated? That the Lord is lifting him up to no longer be poor because he was such a poor guy? I don't think so. I don't know, but that's how I feel. Like that was probably one of the premise on which Jeremiah was operating. Because you saw where Jeremiah was striving for greatness and richness, but he had to do some conniving in it so that he could achieve those things. And when he did that successfully, we realize that Jeremiah ended up being rich and powerful. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let's move. Let's move right along. All right, so now see the sunrise now. There isn't really much left to see. See that there's not much left to see, so no can't see me now. You satisfied? You satisfied that you seen me? Alright, see me here. Yeah, see me here. Hold on, let them people here see me too. You satisfied now? Alright, me not look too bad on Saturday morning here, not true? Let us move right along. Wait, so where we reading? We're reading from 1 Samuel. Yeah. When we done, me have to go color me here. But anyway, we're reading from the book of 1 Samuel, people. You can get your Bible or you can just listen. Okay? Pick your choice. All of them nice. We are on to chapter 2. Okay? And verse 11. And Elkanah went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. They knew not the Lord. Now, why would that have been so? I never wonder. Why would it have been that the sons of Eli worship Belial? No, that would have been not the God of Israel, but the God outside. Was it that this Eli, remember Eli was the priest, Eli was the priest. Eli was present with Elkanah up in Shiloh when they go to worship. So that tells me that Eli would have been a Jew, right? That tells me that Eli would have been operating under the teachings of Moses, right? Because Eli was there in the temple. Shala Blacks, what's up? Me go sleep with you. You know, see me drop asleep last. Listen, Shala. Me go sleep with you last night. I'ma wake up back with you. Ain't that something? A long time I don't sleep with my man, wake up back with him, so that's a good look. I ain't nothing wrong with that. And we are going to move right along. All right, no shenanigans in that Saturday morning here, Trev. Get a hold of yourself. All right, let's move right along. Yeah, so I was saying with Eli was the high priest. Remember, whenever Elkanah went up to Shiloh to offer his praises to his God, Eli was the priest that was there. So that tells me that Eli was also a Jew. Now tell me now, why would... Oh, you take me out of the box. Me say me drop asleep. Now tell me, why would Eli, if he was not a Jew, why would he be up there with Elkanah as they worshipped the Jewish God? Wouldn't happen, right? So why was his children, why was Eli's children not Jews as well? Why would it be that his sons were worshipping Baal? Why would it be that Eli's sons did not worship the Jewish God? Think about it while I read about it. Let us continue. So it says, and Elkanah went up to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Baal. They knew not the Lord. And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servants came while the flesh was was in seething with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand, and he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot, whatever it was that they were cooking in. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came there. Now, oh, you love my hair. Oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. All natural. All natural. Yeah, my hair is all natural. So, people, so here, when they were worshiping and the people were bringing their sacrifices, they brought their sheep and goat, whatever, for their sacrifices. When they would have this big old cauldron, this big pot, after they had the animals, they would put the meat in these big pots to cook. And while the meat was cooking, the priest would drop a hook in the pot, a 3 teeth hook. You know what kind of hook may I talk about, right? Yeah, one of those hook that look like one anchor, like something. Imagine it. Imagine a hook that has 3 hooks on it. So they would drop that in the pot, stir it around, and any amount of meat that it can hook up and bring to the surface, that would belong to the priest. Okay? All right. So in case you're not wondering what in the world I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about. Let us continue. And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or big pot. All that the flesh brought up, the priest took for himself. So that's what they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came there. Also, before they burnt the fat, the priest's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. Want to get that? So everybody who came to do a sacrifice, the servants of the priest would meet them there. All right, we're not gonna repeat it, but anyway, and said, "But I like to wake up with me." Can you hear that? No, I put on my lipstick. I put on my lipstick. You said, "But I like to wake up with me." The shenanigans continues, but let us continue. You know, some man like to say, "Oh, Lord Trevor, when you read the Bible, you can't be serious for a minute." I'm serious when I read the Bible, but I'm still being me. Like, the Bible not stop me from being me. Reading the Bible not stop me from being me. Yeah. You're not gonna tell me say me a blaspheme because I read the Bible and I keep up with foolishness. Ah, oh no lucky. Keep it moving. But anyway. Alright, Shala. I feel that. Let us continue. So here now the Bible is saying whenever the people came with their sacrifices, the servants are I know. It's my thing though. But we'll talk about it off the air. Anywho, so the Bible is saying that when the people would come to sacrifice the animals, the servants of the priest would meet the people with the animals, and say, listen, we want the best parts of the animal for the priest. No, I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the sacrificing thing. I think it was Moses' way of getting the people's animals without having to buy it. Hear me out. May agree or may not agree. I certainly I've After reading the Bible as much as I have, I see absolutely no reason, no plausible, logical reason for the people to have been bringing these sacrifices, because I don't see what was the benefit of these animal sacrifices. In my estimation, I believe that Moses came up with this strategy because he, oh wow, the bees, a big old hornet bee came to visit me. Yeah. So, in my estimation, I don't see any reason for the people to have been bringing all these animals. It didn't redeem them of any sin, even though Moses said it was supposed to be sacrifice for their sins. Like, how would it be that the people would have brought these? I can't find here. My life goes